This is unlocking the Winnipeg Jets as Connor Hellebuyck makes history. And following their massive win against the Minnesota Wild, fans are fired up about Ville Heinola and the outlook of this team going forward. So, we're going to break down Connor Hellebuyck's history as well as discuss how Ville Heinola looks like he can be a staple for this blue line for years to come. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, we are proud to announce that this video is brought to you by Rentals.ca, who are proud supporters of Team Canada. And while they've been supporting our national team defend their home court in international competition, they've also been helping thousands of Canadians find their home floor all across the country. And it doesn't matter what city you are in, whether you're in Toronto, whether you're in Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, Halifax, it does not matter. Winnipeg, Mississauga, Edmonton, Victoria, St. John's, it doesn't matter where you are from coast to coast. Rentals.ca has a ton of options to find the perfect place and price for you.
Their website is clean and easy to use, and you can pinpoint exactly on the map where you want to move, finding all the options in your area. Find your home court with Rentals.ca.
Yeah, check out the website in the pinned comment or the description down below. And shout out to Rentals.ca for supporting our channel, supporting Team Canada, and supporting you guys for finding the best rentals across the country. So thank you guys again. And thank you to Rentals.ca for sponsoring this video. The Jets are coming off a massive 4-1 win against the Minnesota Wild. And the Wild this season so far are playing very well. So we knew this was going to be a big test for them. And I mean, they delivered. And the player who delivered the most really was Connor Hellebuyck, who we'll get into in a minute here. But I want to start and just discuss Ville Heinola's debut. We didn't have a video after the game, but it was fans are very excited about this debut. And you see this here from Murat. Ville Heinola was pretty good eyes emoji. And it's a good way to start it because if you were watching the game, and again, coming into this, he was playing on the third line. Of course, the third line, the blue line there, third pairing. It was he was paired alongside Colin Miller, and the expectations coming into the game were a bit, I guess, murky, I would say. And Darius, what did you see out of him? He looked very good. You can see this here from Brady Heinola tying up players in front, doesn't allow Foligno to jump on the loose puck. Logan Stanley, despite being 6'7", doesn't do that. And that was kind of the sentiment of most Jets fans, and it has been now really for the past few weeks, is put Ville Heinola in, let Logan Stanley, I guess, just rot on the bench or maybe get traded or be sent down, whatever it is. And it seems like, I don't know if we're going to take him out after his performance. He looked very good, especially for a young defenseman.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it yesterday, and I was saying that this is a player who needs to grab a hold of this opportunity and make the most of it. And I think he did that in his first game in his season debut because obviously, we've talked about it ad nauseum, the injury history, all of that. He needed to come in and make a good first impression this season and give them a reason to keep him over making a trade for another player. And I think that they, so far are seeing that from Ville Heinola. It was a great game. And again, Logan Stanley is continuing to catch strays from the Winnipeg Jets fan base for stuff like this, but it's true. Heinola is far smaller. I mean, most players are far smaller than Logan Stanley, and I think he was already more effective in doing some of the little things, the little detailed things in his game last night, and I think he's hungry to get going. So I'm excited to see, and I think Jets fans are excited to see if this continues. I think the biggest thing for him now is consistency. It was his first game. Obviously, he's going to come in with a bunch of jump. He's going to want to play good. He had 2 shots on goal, so he had a pretty solid performance. He was doing the little things, obviously battling in front of the net. Can he do this consistently? And he needs to work on his consistency as well. So I think that's something that all Jets fans are going to be looking for. The coaching staff's going to be looking for, and I think that's the biggest thing heading down the stretch here, especially as they deal with a couple injuries. Sandberg out with his broken foot, of course. Are they looking at a trade, or can Ville Heinola finally step up into that role and add more to his game? And I think so far, so good, and I think that's why Jets fans are so excited so far. But that's the biggest thing for me moving forward, the consistency. Can he do it night in, night out? And we're going to find out soon because they play again already tomorrow night. So I wonder if he factors into the lineup again. I would assume so, but Logan Stanley is obviously making his way back. He's going to be back soon, obviously. Experience plays into that. They're going to want him back in the lineup as well. But Heinola played great for his first game.
Yeah, and again, it was only his first game of the season, so I'm gonna temper expectations a little bit. But again, I had pretty not low expectations necessarily, but I wasn't gonna be upset if he had a pretty rough game. It's his first game in the NHL in a couple years, and again, he's stepping into a team that is 18-4-0 now, and they've been the best team in the NHL this season. So, this year, what a way to win a hockey game. Connor Hellebuyck piles on the heroics through 40 minutes. Then the Jet Skaters play a strong shutdown third to survive the Wild's push, and and before we move on to Hellebuyck, just one final note. I'm excited to see him play tomorrow. You have to assume he's going to play tomorrow against the Los Angeles Kings, even if Logan Stanley is healthy. I don't know who would get, shaped down or sent down in the sense of in the blue line pairings. You had Hayden Fleury playing the second line alongside Neil Pionk yesterday. So, I mean, they didn't look bad either, quite honestly. Neil Pionk looked fine. Hayden Fleury had a fine game as well. Everybody played well. I think if you're Scott Arniel on the Winnipeg Jets here, I think you just run it back. I think you run back the same blue line pairing, and the question mark will be going forward. Logan Stanley, though, that will be the question. What happens with him? Maybe he takes Hayden Fleury's spot. You move Ville Heinola up to the second pairing alongside Neil Pionk or something like that. Even though that is an interesting defensive second pairing there with Heinola, especially being smaller, and Neil Pionk. But if Ville can show and prove to be a good defensive defenseman, then it would work out well. But I want to talk about Connor Hellebuyck now a little bit. Obviously, I mean, we've talked about him a lot on this on the channel because he is arguably the best goalie in the NHL, and he showed it yesterday. And I mean, if you watch the game, you could argue it should have been like 3-1 for the Minnesota Wild after the first period. They were getting tons of high danger chances, and Connor Hellebuyck shut the door every single time. And you can see this article, and it's very interesting. Why Jets Connor Hellebuyck is the most unappreciated goalie of this generation. And you can make an argument for that. I think he has talked about a fair amount, but this season, Darius, he is, especially yesterday's game against a very good Minnesota Wild team, he basically put the Jets on his back until they finally got their offense going in the second and third.
Yeah, and coming off the Vezina Trophy as well, right? So you're kind of expecting big things from this goaltender. Obviously, we know what he's done in the past. It was a shaky playoffs for him as well, but a shaky playoffs for the whole team, right? So you're expecting big things, and he's delivering this season. He's doing historical things. Obviously, the Jets are as well, but he is too individually. So he's been fantastic. He's easily top 2, 3 goaltenders for me in the NHL. He continues to do it even at his age. Now that he's getting a little bit older, you start to see some goalies start to regress, but he is not. He has been on his game. I wouldn't say he won them that game, but I think it was definitely a group effort. I thought that he played fantastic. The Minnesota Wild have had a great, start to this season. They're a really, really good team, high flying offense as well. So he shut the door. He absolutely shut the door. He's been great so far this season. Again, building off of what he did last season. The Jets are on pace to absolutely blow their season record out of the water last year. So they're continuing their hot start. They're breaking records. He's breaking individual records for goaltenders as well. As you can see here, obviously 15 wins in the first 17 games in a season. So crazy stats already for Connor Hellebuyck. Posting shutouts. His save percentage is unreal. Every time he stops 40 or more shots, it's an automatic win, it seems, for the Jets, right? The more shots that he faces, the better that he gets in the game. So he's been awesome. And I know a lot of what I'm saying Jets fans already know, but I think, at times you just have to take a step back and really appreciate what this goalie is doing for the Jets and how he's helping them along as well. And the team's playing great, right? Like when they're on, not too many teams can beat them in the NHL, and they've been on a lot this season. So he's been doing some really, really good work.
Yeah, and you look at his stats here, and again, it's the first year of a 7-year deal for him. He won the Vezina last year. There's a good case he can win it this year. Again, it's still early in the season, but we're over a fourth of the way there now. So
Yep.
it's starting to pile up. 15-2 and 930 save percentage. I mean, he's probably the leader right now in the Vezina race. If the season was to end today, being 15-2, there are some other guys as well, but I mean, again, 15 wins at this point of the season is kind of crazy for again, they're 22 games into the season and he has 15 wins, and that's with Eric Comrie having 3 of those 18 wins. So ultimately, it's a he's the best goalie right now in the NHL. And yeah, I don't think he necessarily won them the game yesterday, but I think you can make an argument that he at least kept them in it in the first period. Again, that first period was, I mean, the Wild were outplaying the Jets fairly consistently throughout that first period. But after that, the Jets took over, and if it wasn't for Connor Hellebuyck, but that's what good goalies do in this league. So
Yep.
ultimately, 9-1-1, 945 save percentage in his last 11 road games when facing 40 plus shots. So as the game goes on, he continues to get better. But any final thoughts on this before I wrap up?
Yeah, he's a fantastic goaltender. The Jets are very lucky to have him, but you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. So the Jets are obviously a really, really good team. They have good backup goaltending as well, right? That helps out when need be. So that's been great this season so far too. And I don't see the Jets slowing down. I think they're going to lose games here and there, but just the way that they're playing, how they're locked in mentally, whether it's the goaltending, the defense, the forward group, they only really need to make one trade, I think, this season heading into the trade deadline, and that's maybe to get a defenseman. But even now, Ville Heinola, if everyone's healthy, if he continues to play really well and he's able to do it consistently and he starts to build that confidence, I don't know if you have to go trade for a guy. The guy, Ville Heinola may have arrived. We'll see. It's a little bit early still to make that claim, but no, it's been a great season for the Jets so far.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to keep up with them, especially see what happens with, of course, Ville Heinola and Logan Stanley to see who keeps factoring in every single night. But that'll wrap it up. Make sure to subscribe button. See you guys later.